They fined me over my lawn, so I paved it with stone. You'd be surprised how fast a patch of yellow grass can get you fined $200, especially when Karen's watching. Let me back up. My name's Malik Carter, 39, single dad, landscaper, part-time mechanic, and full-time realist. I don't like wasting water. I hate mowing. And I've got better things to do than babysit a lawn during a heat wave that's been cooking Colorado for 3 straight summers. So when the grass finally gave up, this July turned crispy brown and surrendered like old toast, I didn't cry over it. I figured I'd switch to stone next spring. Maybe some xeriscaping, drought-friendly plants, a couple of native shrubs. Something sustainable. Karen had other ideas. She showed up 3 days after the first brown spot, like clockwork. Clipboard in hand, tan pantsuit, that too-tight smile that screams I'm not racist. But, hi Malik, I noticed your lawn is looking stressed. Sandridge Pines has a very strict standard for front yard appearance. I nodded. Yup, it's called reality. Want me to send it a therapist? She didn't laugh. She just handed me a paper. You've been issued a formal HOA notice for lawn neglect. $200 fine, due in 10 days. I looked at the paper, then back at her. Karen, this isn't an HOA neighborhood. We have a neighborhood watch, not a lawn dictatorship. We reformed the HOA last year, she chirped. Didn't you get the newsletter? I hadn't. Neither had Mr. Ruiz next door, or Miss E. Patel across the street, or the Nguyen family on the corner. But all of us, the not-so-white crew, suddenly started getting notices about fences too high, colors too bold, and cars too old. Karen wasn't just watching lawns. She was policing people, and I wasn't about to let that slide. I ignored the fine. 10 days later, another showed up this time, $400, then $600, then a threat of a lien on my home. Except I knew the law. There was no registered HOA on file with the county. No board, no voting record. Just a few neighbors, mostly retirees who thought a brown lawn was moral decay, and Karen, who printed fines from a Gmail account labeled Sandridge, Ho President Edgmail.com. I confronted her at the next so-called HOA meeting, held on her front lawn beneath a white canopy like she was queen of the block. Karen, you're impersonating an HOA. That's fraud. You can't fine people, she smirked. I'm enforcing standards. If you don't like it, move. Move. This was my house. My dad left it to me before he passed the same house he'd worked 2 jobs to keep during the 2008 recession. I rebuilt this place, brick by brick. Karen wanted me gone because I didn't kiss the lawn's ass. No. Instead, I rolled up my sleeves and ordered 8 tons of Colorado flagstone. The trucks arrived at 7 a.m., sharp, big, rumbling flatbeds loaded with stone. Karen marched across the street in a frenzy. This isn't permitted. I grinned. Good thing I checked with the county. Turns out, I don't need your permission. For 2 weeks, I worked, alone at first, then with help. Mr. Ruiz brought his wheelbarrow. Mr. Patel's grandson helped me design the layout. Even some local teens pitched in for community service hours. We removed the dead grass, laid down fabric, built a stone mosaic that shimmered under the sun. It wasn't just functional, it was art. I even carved my dad's initials into the center tile. Karen kept screaming. Fines kept coming, and then she crossed the line. It happened on a Wednesday. The same day I finished sealing the final slab of flagstone, the one with my father's initials etched in bronze paint. Right in the center of the yard, I stood there in the golden evening light, a cold beer in hand, admiring what we'd done. It wasn't just a yard anymore. It was a message, a monument, proof that we didn't have to bow down to fake authority. That's when I heard the shouting. Ethan Nguyen, a quiet teenager from the corner house, came running down the sidewalk. Malik, it's Karen. She's got a city inspector with her. They're walking your yard right now. I walked over slow, calm, like the storm was behind me, not ahead. But the moment I turned the corner, I saw them, Karen, pointing wildly at my flagstone lawn, while a confused-looking city employee stood there with a tablet in his hand, clearly wondering why he'd been dragged into this. "Excuse me," I said, approaching. "Can I help you?" The inspector looked up. Young guy, probably mid-30s, khakis and an official badge around his neck. "Hi, sir. Just responding to a complaint about unauthorized hardscaping and environmental disruption. Someone reported excessive runoff from this property." "Runoff," I laughed. "Buddy, that stone has better drainage than any of the grass around here. I use 3 4-inch gravel base and permeable joints." "Want to see the permit I pulled?" His eyebrows shot up. "You pulled a permit?" I pulled it up on my phone. Emailed. Approved. Documented. Karen's jaw clenched. "She's been impersonating an HOA, I added, looking the inspector in the eye, "sending out fake fines, threatening liens. You might want to look into that." He nodded slowly. "I'll make a note of that." Karen turned bright red. She knew she'd been caught, and now there was an official who couldn't be steamrolled. I thought that might be the end of it. It wasn't. 2 days later, I woke up to find graffiti across my brand new stonework. In red spray paint, ugly, sloppy, cruel, "Mow your damn yard." I stood there for 10 whole minutes, heart pounding, fists shaking. But I didn't scream. I didn't curse. I walked inside, poured myself some coffee, then called the police. The officers were polite, took pictures, wrote it up, said they'd look into it. But I knew nothing would happen unless I gave them reason to dig. So I checked my cameras. I'd installed 2 on the roof line the week before, motion activated, night vision, 1080p clarity, and there she was, Karen, 3:14 a.m., hoodie, gloves, spray can in hand, no mask. The footage was so clear you could see the glint of her wedding ring. I brought the footage downtown myself, filed a criminal complaint, and this time I went public. I posted the clip to a private community Facebook group with one line, "This is what enforcing aesthetics looks like." It exploded. By the next morning, the video had been shared 2,000 times. Local news picked it up within 48 hours. People started adding their own stories, not just from my block, but from nearby neighborhoods. Stories about harassment, forged fines, and Karen's reign of intimidation. The court date came fast. Karen was charged with vandalism, impersonation of an official, and harassment. She pleaded not guilty, of course, claimed it was taken out of context, that she was framed, even tried to say it wasn't her in the footage. Didn't work. The jury took less than 2 hours. Guilty on all counts, community service, restitution for the damage, and a restraining order preventing her from contacting me, my family, or stepping within 100 feet of my property. And the fines she sent out officially declared fraudulent. Every resident she harassed eligible for restitution through a civil suit, which, by the way, 23 of us filed together. So what happened to her? She moved, quietly, shamefully. Her house sat empty for months before it finally sold at a loss. No one throws around her name anymore, not because we forgot, but because she became the cautionary tale parents tell their kids about power trips and bad decisions. As for me, my yard is stone, cool underfoot, easy to maintain. Neighbors stop by to compliment the design, ask for tips, even copy parts of it. Some tore out their lawns too. We've got a whole row now of beautiful, water-smart front yards. We call it the stone side. The community changed after Karen left. Lighter, kinder, more real. We still have disagreements, but now it's over beers and bonfires, not clipboards and threats. And every spring, I host a neighborhood BBQ. First thing people see when they arrive is a big sign planted in the center of my stones. It says, "No lawns, no lords, just neighbors." What do you think? Should residents be allowed to fight back like this, or does order matter more than autonomy? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about justice, community power, and what it really means to own your home.